So, hello! We are here for the world building starting now. Last time we worked on the 1300s BC, which is roughly the time when it was the height of the ancient Egyptian kingdom. This was basically when the upper and lower kingdoms were united, and Egypt was like the first kind of early empire. We have seen that, and basically our version of this happening are the Elves. So the Elves are currently a fully unified state and actually quite powerful. Then, for example, we have the humans down here with their own internal borders and a couple of additional human areas starting to pop up as they begin to explore. We also had the arrival of the boat humans. These are the bee humans who will eventually be pushed out by the trolls and then move over here. And then we also have the southern humans, which are these guys, which are going to be more tethered to the rivers and things just because this area is just so fertile and so wealthy. And then that also leads us basically to the question of the dwarves, who are over here at the moment. And the dwarves, as we know, we eventually want to have controlling most of this region. But it's always been a bit of a question mark as to how they achieve this. How in particular do they go from here to here and from here into here, which is where the eventual capital actually is, the capital being right there. Well, I have a few answers now. And part of that is going to be going to the next timestamp. So we're currently at 1300. I have extended the timeline breakdown a little bit to cover what is going on in each of those eras in the World Anvil overview. Oh no, sorry, 2400 to the Egyptian Old Kingdom. Greek city-states is 1300, which is where we are just starting. So I think I made that save just as we were about to begin. And there are a couple of other things here I need to shut. The rest is fine. So we have the 2400s where not much will have changed compared to the 1300s. No, sorry, 1300s is, yeah, where we are. That is the rise of the Greek city-states, which is when we have the colonization going on. Then we have the Bronze Age collapse, which is when the boat people come in. But the thing I want to talk about is this. I've added a new point on the timeline, and that is the death of Socrates, which historically was 399 BC. Now, I want to have a character who is a bit like Socrates, kind of like the grandfather of modern philosophy, except he is kind of the grandfather of wizardry. So yeah, there is magic at a somewhat low level. We don't have anyone that's like particularly amazing at magic until this guy. And he is a dwarf. And he is probably going to be a part of the reason why the dwarves kind of have their own little golden age, and that's really when they're going to start to expand. But it is also when that golden age comes to a tumultuous end, because he wakes something up, and that something comes out of this weirdly shaped mountain. It will actually claw its way through these mountains, forming a tunnel, which is how the dwarves get from here to here. And that creature you may well be familiar with. It is the first appearance of our Tarrasque. So that's in the Dwarven realm. And the funny shaped mountain is the Tarrasque's lair. The Tarrasque claws its way through here, virtually wipes the dwarves out, because yeah, Tarrasques are that strong. Definitely kills Socrates, and then just disappears. And the dwarves then take over this tunnel, allowing them the easier passage through these realms. They take over the Tarrasque's old lair and build their capital in it, because they're dwarves, and they're like, yeah, we totally beat this guy, and he's definitely never coming back again. This is also part of the reason why you don't see very many dwarven mages, because the dwarves have kind of understood that magic is what awoke the Tarrasque, and are a bit afraid of it happening again. So the dwarves are now very wary around magic, and that's where kind of the cultural concerns about magic use come in, and that may well come into play when the Dragonborn arrive later on, because the Dragonborn, are led by dragons who are giant reptiles just like a certain Tarask, so they might have alarm bells ringing already from their arrival. So even if they're not necessarily right in the path of the Dragonborn invasion, I think the dwarves will be quite heavily involved in that. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about right now. Dwarven cultural aversion to magic, indeed. That is my thinking at the moment. The Dwarven expansion was missing from the last session. You were going to do it at the beginning of this one live. I thought we did that already. Yeah, Dwarven expansions happened. They got bigger, see? If I just go and blow this up a little bit. See the dwarves there, 1300. Difference between 2400s, they're a lot smaller. They were fighting here. Oh, actually, no, they're not. Yes, they are. Yeah, they pushed into the mountains over here, and then also onto that peninsula. And they also beat the trolls. In the first round of the Dwarven Troll Wars, there are still some trolls back here, which is probably what's going to be knocked out in the next era. And yeah, they went from 3 realms to 5. Now, that's the other thing, is Malo Diablo did do one of his excellent overviews of the different factions. And if I bring up my PDFs, here we go. So this was Malo's suggestion for what to do with the dwarves. There are some ideas here I really liked, like the Dwarven Incas for sure, particularly the ones over on this side. So the Northern Dwarves are going to be Inca flavoured. I don't know about these. You were talking a lot about the dwarves trying to build up instead of down. I don't know if I want to do that necessarily. Grand building projects for sure. Grand building projects just to try to reach the sky, and the whole obsession with the sky doesn't feel very dwarven to me. So we'll probably do something else than that. But I do like them being great builders, particularly because the ruins of those buildings destroyed by the Tarask are going to be fun to explore. But I do like the way that you've expanded. And one idea that Malo had, which was actually particularly clever, was the ogres. As they get beaten by the Minotaurs in the north, you get some rebel ogres to basically run away. And they go through the desert, chasing through here. And then you have this interesting interplay between the ogres of the desert and then the dwarves basically coming into effect against each other. And then you have like the rise of this southern ogre kingdom. And I think that could be a really interesting one to explore as well. So the ogres kind of open up the desert, which is what allows the dwarves to come through and start to colonize the other mountainside. And yeah, I do like the idea of this southern ogre realm. I think that would be pretty cool. And they would be highly influenced by the dwarves. So you could have kind of a metallurgical, like probably more advanced ogre kingdom. So sorcerers, clerics, warlocks and the like were the height of magic before Socrates, who started intellectual wizardry. Precisely. Yeah, Socrates might have been like when the first magic academy was established. Speaking of, are dwarves and ogres biologically compatible, shared ancestry and all that? Possibly. I mean, that might be where... You know what? These could be the Ogrelon. Ogrelon are an interesting one. They're half ogres. And they're a lot more intelligent than regular ogres. First came across them in Baldur's Gate. They even kind of look dwarven inspired. You know what? Yeah, that's totally going to be where the Ogrelon are. Ooh, I really like that idea. And that is actually one of the races that was not on my race list. Dwarves, here we go. Ogrelon, half ogre, half dwarf. And those are just big dwarves. Pretty much. I mean, they'd be very big dwarves. But yeah, base height 7'6". That's pretty big. Not as big as an ogre, but still pretty big. When should we say the Ogrelons come into existence? Probably fairly soon after they get conquered by the Minotaurs. This is basically the big exodus. Where's my map gone? I'm just going to stick you at the end. There we go. So we currently got the ogres up here. They would come down the river, skirt around the Duragar, past the fire giants. Duragar might even try to chase them into the desert. Like, they need to have a reason to not just settle in here. And I would say that reason is probably the Duragar. So that's why they're initially hesitant about the dwarves. And you probably have dwarves either fighting the trolls, maybe the Ogrelon come in and help against the trolls. That would be an interesting early contact between the dwarves and the ogres. Imagine the desert ogres are what makes it possible for the dwarves to be able to cross it. Yep, that's what I'm thinking. It is intellectual wizardry that is the great equalizer, like Colt and Kalashnikov, bringing magic to the masses and common man, not just special bloodlines and pawns of the divine. Yes, I would agree with that. Actually, this is really interesting having arcane wizardry be in the realm of the dwarves instead of the elves, at least early on. Which also means that arcane wizardry would be a relatively late innovation in terms of when others come into contact. I mean, it would probably be what the southern humans going across the desert via the trade routes, and maybe into the elves via the trade route. So actually the last ones to get it would be the North humans. Elves are far more naturalistic magic users given their heritage. Yes. Which is why, like, sorcery amongst elves is more common than studied magic. Which, again, with our particular background, makes a lot of sense. Oh, you know what we're missing? We don't have any background tunes. Let's bring some of those up. No, not that. And turn it right down. Choose that one at random. Somehow always click on the main theme first. There we go. Are dwarves going to have runesmithing in this world? Undecided. The problem with runesmithing is, except for the Rune Knight class, that doesn't really exist in D&D. That's more of a Warhammer thing. I mean, we can certainly make our own subclasses, like we're almost certainly going to be making some sub-races for this. Big difference later between the humans, their stance and wizardry, perhaps. I mean, this would almost certainly lead, so instead of arcane magic being the big thing for the dwarves, they instead go into enchanting, because they'd still have some pretty large deposits of quintessence. Didn't we start marking that out? Yeah, we did. Just didn't get far enough south. We put most of it up in the giants, but there would almost certainly be some quintessence deposits down here. Probably also in like this mountain range. Quite like that idea actually, that this becomes a mining settlement. And we do need to come up with some more strategic resources down here which are fought over. Because one thing about strategic resources, they're really good at like defining what a region is known for, and therefore the culture that emerges from that. Like, for example, if wine production down here is really easy, probably around here actually, then the southern humans would be known as the vintners. And then you probably have like grain and barley and stuff like that up here, particularly in this bit, and then this would be like where the brewing is. And then obviously there's a lot of mountains and hills down here, so stone and metal work be with dwarves, which isn't surprising, but which metals? I would say particularly iron. So I think we already determined that tin is relatively rare. Yeah, the tin's up here, which is why they have this conflict with the trolls. In fact, you know what? Let's put some pandarite in there. So grab you. Pandarite's the old name for this. Quintessence. So that probably is the body of one of the old gods, and it's out in the desert, so it wouldn't be a particularly nice area to go mining for it. Is there any other sources down here? Like maybe where the Duragar are? Maybe just outside of where the Duragar are. Quite like this being a source of quintessence. Like, I've been thinking about this being a magical lake for a while. Actually. This lake. So the interesting thing about this is it might be harvested like salt flats. Like the idea that this is. The biggest source is up here in the Feywild, though this comes pretty close. So we should have some kind of magical creatures around here. Like this might be where elementals are. Because that's another thing, where there's quintessence, you'd also have elementals. Settlements around the Lake Pan for household promescence use. Yeah, effectively. Portal to the Realm of Earth. I mean, portals are another thing. Like, this is something I didn't necessarily want to define early. Like, there is a portal here, which is where the devils come from. But we can certainly open up more portals as the timeline goes forwards. And I think that would be an interesting way of just introducing suddenly, bam, random race. Enjoy! Like Mind Flayers, for example, I could see arriving through a portal. I want these guys to have a bigger source of magic. Like, I especially want quintessence to be in areas of contest. I feel like this might be a good spot. Going out into the hills out here. Hills, lakes, mountains, rivers. Any of those places would be kind of interesting. And I definitely do think that there should be something around here somewhere. I kind of feel like it would be here. We're going to put a source in these mountains because that's what I want the dwarves to be mining. That's where they get the quintessence to supply the first arcane university. No, not there. Tarask needs to come through here. So it does make more sense if it's there, although it could well be up here too. This doesn't feel fertile enough. Don't want it to be in the lake. But this being the early source would make sense, because then it will come out of the river and the stream. I also like the idea it comes from here. In fact, they probably collect it in here because it comes down this river. Let's put that as a source. And then here, this becomes the location of a more major mine. Or we can just put a smaller deposit in there. Let's do that. Let's just make this like halves. No, because I don't really want it to be in the lake. Let's put it there. It makes the most sense. Definitely going to be within the Tarask lair. That's part of the reason they mine there. Or we put something more valuable in here. No, you know what? I don't like that it's here. I think they will extract it from here, bring it down to here, and then this is the university, and then Tarask comes through here. That makes a lot more sense, like straight through that. So this is going to be the initial dwarven population centre, which makes sense considering its location. It's got wood and stone for building, it's on a river for trade, and it's also in a very, very fertile area. That would be a big city. Oh, right, I need to change my stream title, don't I? World building. Quintessence. Done. Any seams of gems that will later be traded to feed the Dragonborn kingdoms. I mean, I don't think that would be gems. I think that would be mostly... I mean, it would be gems, it would be metallics, gold and the like. I mean, I feel like the Dwarven realm would be more likely to have gold or silver. Like, part of what I was thinking, and part of the reason why I'm going, you know what, I think... I don't know, what do I want to have in here? Quintessence would be an obvious way for the Tarask to grow. It basically absorbs the magical power. And if I remember, they're immune to magic. They're resistant to all magic. And they have this reflective carapace. Yeah, Tarask actually makes sense. It would be a highly magical creature. So having the Tarask in here makes sense. So the other resource, which we kind of need to add to the game, is going to be a very light... color like that. And you can probably guess what this one will be. Mithril. What size is that? 100. Should be black. So I feel like it makes sense for there to be mithril down here, possibly in this. Which would make it hilarious if early on they don't know how to work it, so they throw it away. I mean, this might just be the raw ore needed to make mithril. Whatever it is that's added to the stuff to make it. But mithril should be pretty rare. You know what? Let's have mithril being one of the really big sources over here, which is part of the reason... For Pete's sake. Resources. Why the Northern Dwarves start raking it in. It's because that is a really big deposit of mithril. It's rare. We can add a couple more sources. Like, I don't necessarily need to get it all done now. We can add these raw materials as we go. So tin's in. We got stuff over there. I worry about the humans, and I worry about the humans. And if there are other resources that come up as we go, we can do that. Makes sense that mithril is a mix of silver and quintessence. True. I mean, having it manufactured here, I mean, that could be another reason why this city takes off. Yeah, I want this to be a really major trading city, and I think it's going to become one. Because the Dwarven trade route right now is you have the spice coming in from here, goes through the World Wound Tunnel, which is what I'm calling that tunnel because it sounds cool, to the Dwarven capital, comes through this pass up to here, then it makes its way north around the mountains, using that as a bit of a landmark, to the lake, then across the lake, or around the lake, usually across, into this pass, and then from there it's basically free to go wherever it needs to go. Or it goes to here, then through this pass, and into the southern human lands. Like, these are basically the two Spice Road channels. And we also need to decide what exactly the Spice Road in this game means. Silk Road, rather. Silks, spices, raw materials, like adamantium or something like that, coming from the east. And more importantly, gold and silver going the other way, and gems. So in fact, if we had like a gem mine, like be particularly wealthy up, say, here, or in here, or in here. Because it then gets found in the swamp as it's dredged up from there. I'm not going to define what gems these are, I'm just going to say gems for now. Ah, where's the typing bit? Where is the typing thing? I'm not going mad, it's disappeared. No, it hasn't, it's there. Going mad. Do I have copper mapped out? No, because copper is pretty common. The rare one is tin, which we do have. Like, I want to try to keep this to the rare materials. Which is why so many cultures actually had copper stuff. But making bronze was hard. Part of the reason the Iron Age took off, because iron was also a lot more common. Leave a normal law, adamantium is usually from meteorites formed from a volcanic environment. Yeah, so adamantium is meteoric iron, effectively. Whereas mithril is kind of like a light steel. I don't know exactly what the origin of mithril is, though. Let's look it up. Mithril. Resembling silver but stronger and lighter than steel. Grey glitter. Extremely rare by the end of the Third Age. It's only found in Khazad-dûm. So only found in Moria. Mithril was the only mineral that Tolkien invented. But yeah, it's mined. It's definitely mined, because it's from the mines of Moria. Oh yeah. Why is that? Oh, because I was doing some world building while doing a timer on a different stream. I remember now. Thank you. Okay, so. Cool. I like this. Getting distracted though. Because what I wanted to start doing was the next era. Or we just continue doing resources. Like, I'm aware of the fact it's really 1:45. Time is just roared past today. So you know what? Let's just continue doing resources, and then next session we'll sort out other stuff. Or we just make it up when we do the kingdoms. Need a reason for those kingdoms to go. I mean, that is another thing which I think we should start doing, is actually naming and shaming the various kingdoms as they're starting to appear, because they're beginning to become important as a political entity. Probably not so much in this era, but certainly starting in the next, when the boat people arrive. So it's going to take 100 years for the trolls to go bloop through here, and for the humans to go whoop over to here, where they will then found a new kingdom around this. So what was the story about the Northern Dwarves appearing over here? Because I don't remember. Was it something I wrote down? They're not religious exiles. At this point, there aren't really religions. Not in the way that we understand them today. There are, but not of the divisive nature. Too early for the magic. Again, magic's not for another... Where to put it? Death of Socrates, 399. So not for another 1,000 years. Because I definitely did want more dwarves, and I think it makes sense having the dwarves there. But I also kind of wonder if we should remove these dwarves now, and then have them appear when the ogres pass through. Unless these dwarves help the ogres, and that's why the ogres have a better relationship with the dwarves. Because after the Duragar chased them into the desert, the ogres look like they're about to die until the Northern Dwarves help them. Same dwarven ethnicity, but just ended up in two different places. Yeah, that's what I think it basically is going to be, but why would they have gone there? Why have they gone across a desert? Because people go in the path of the least resistance. The path of least resistance is down here. Chased away from the expansion by trolls, except dwarves are expanding into the trolls, not vice versa. Political exiles, Queen Dido in Carthage style. Again, it would be much easier to just go across this plain to this area. And from next era, that's probably going to start happening. Now that the dwarves have themselves a coastline, it gets a lot easier to go exploring. With the dwarves being more places than showed on the map shows where the civilizations and communities are. True, but again, like, thinking... Well, the Dwarven heritage, which is basically post-Titan era, we haven't really determined why dwarves are the way they are. Same as ogres and minotaurs. I didn't think it was important, really, for the narrative at this point. You know what? I'm just staring at one area of the map and thinking this is a really obvious gold area. Right in here. Easy early gold source. Because the way that this is shaped, it just looks like an old river valley. That's where gold is found. Probably having come from, like, in here. And this is why the dwarves started trading with the dragons, because they had a gold source. Probably silver too. I don't know where silver naturally occurs. I know a lot more about gold. Like, this wasn't Arabia the source of a lot of silver? Asia Minor and the Aegean, separated from lead. Silver mines of Laurium were very rich, helped provide a currency for the economy of ancient Athens. Romans took over silver mining in Spain from Carthage. Silver was widespread in Britain. Hence, sterling silver. One of the main aims of Viking expansion was to acquire and trade silver. Bergen and Dublin were important places of silver mining. Driving force of settlement in Western North America. Australia, Mexico, Bolivia, Peru, Poland, Mexico. So, mountains. I think it might have been more Scotland than Britain. Well, I mean, Britain has mountains, they're just not very high. What I'd really like is a map. GIF map, please. Poland. 8th. If this is production as opposed to usage. Yeah, it must be. Yeah, it is. Huh. I didn't know. Poland had mountains? Where? Down here? Then why doesn't Slovakia have it? I know that the salt mines were down here. Because, yeah, my thinking, Poland's pretty flat. And it is. Except in the south. Anyway, getting distracted. I mean, silver should really be on the list too. So it's going to be similar color to mithril, but probably a wee bit darker. I mean, the problem is mithril, silver, and iron are all going to be, and tin are going to be different shades of grey. Let's put silver about there. So similar. That's basically just mithril. Well, iron's fairly easy, because iron I can just make this colour. It's going to be close to tin, but it's different enough. And then silver is basically just even lighter mithril. Give it a slight hint of blue. There you go, that can be silver. You know what, let's make that mithril. Yeah, let's make the bluey one mithril. means you need to be coloured. And then let's make the actual silver. Silver. That one. There you go, now they look different. Have it dash instead of solid like Siege Down Province CK or EU. Harder to do though with the tools I'm using. Yeah, we could make iron a bit redder, that's true. There we go. Now they're really quite different. Good suggestion. So if silver is just from mountains, be tempted to put silver in here. Possibly even gold. So it's on a nice little... That's going to be a very conflict-prone region. You know what? I kind of fancy putting gold there. I think I might actually put silver in here. So silver should be rare. So should gold. A little deposit in there. And in there. I quite like the idea of silver being in here. Possibly also a little deposit in here. Silver in Scandinavia? Not according to this map. Was in Scotland though. Let's put it in there. And just because I can and because it amuses me, there is gold in this mountain. Gives the Verbeegs, Goliaths, Goblins and Hobgoblins something to fight over. Now I feel like this would be a fairly good silver spot. See these hills too. And here. And in here. This is going to be a big old silver mine. Very important for the Tinkali later. And this is... Ah, you know what? Yes. This is going to be the source of a lot of the world's silver. You know what? Let's get rid of that bit. And that's why the Tinkali are after slaves. Silver is fairly common, not in large quantities, hence its value, and occurs with veins of other metals. Yeah, like lead. Hence, silver mining is really bad for the environment. And it's usually separated using... Oh, what's that really poisonous material called? Arsenic. Oh, let's put a little silver up here too. Sure, why not? You can have a little bit of silver. Actually kind of fun putting these random resources out and about. What about down here? I definitely feel like there should be some. Let's put the... Yeah, silver in here so the Leonin have a source. That might be what starts them trading with the lizardmen. But the big silver source is definitely down here. Alright, what else did we have? We had gold. Gold should be near glacial action. So a lot of the gold mine should be up here. And again, I think that's going to be where the hobgoblins get interested. Like up here is probably going to be a gold area. I'm going to say in here as well. Gives a nice little bit of a reason to encroach in the Feywild. Because we want people to attack the Feywild, because we want the Feywild to fight back. We also... want there to be gold in the areas where the Dragonborn are after. You know what, that kind of looks like it should be a silver spot in here. Put a fairly hefty silver mine in there. I kind of feel like I need to put more silver down this way. Put one in there too. Ah, thank you. Good map of the main metals and deposits in the world. Ooh. Bauxite is aluminium, chromium is chromium, copper, diamonds. Oh yeah, this is really good. Gold, actually found in, yeah, the mountainous areas, unsurprisingly. Nickel, manganese, platinum. So platinum for us would be... Oh no, platinum is platinum. We do need a source of platinum. Silver, tin, titanium. So titanium for us would be mithril. So titanium seems to be mostly volcanic areas. I'm actually going to save this. This is useful. Where is quintessence? I might have just lost my Q. You're not finding any. What was I calling it? D&D. Oh, primessence. Right, because quintessence is the actual name. Duh. In which case, I've called this stream the wrong thing. It's fine. I know what the name of this world is. Any contact between moving water and volcanic activity that could bring loads of gold into being as well. I was thinking of making the volcanic stuff more about iron. Fe is iron, so Mexico, Northern America, Canada, there's loads of iron in Europe. Brittany, Belgium, Germany, Czech, Northern Spain, so anywhere where there's just rugged mountain. So basically wherever there isn't silver or gold is where there's going to be iron. You know what else should be in the desert areas? Not the desert areas, the jungle areas. Jungle areas should be the gems. And also there's a region up here. Where there should also be gems. Like marshland that's relatively close to rivers flowing, but without the mountains. Marshland close to rivers with hills. There's actually an area down south where that would be prime. Here it is. This is where I wanted it. This could also be ferrous iron. Ferrous iron. Iron's always ferrous. Marsh, bog iron. Iron doesn't just occur in mountains. You can also get swamp iron. Which was much higher quality carbon. So like Viking steel was known to be really good because I got it from swamps, not mountains. Harder to extract, but then the iron itself is more carbonated and therefore it's harder. Holds its edge better. Amber, yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, there are loads of places in the Feywild where gems will be good. I'm looking at this spot in particular. Is that mountain there? No, that's a lake. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, we just need to remember that this is where amber occurs. And then because we have quintessence and gems really close to each other, what would that result in? Doesn't have the same bearing. I'll look more southerly for this stuff. Turtles are known for some kind of gems. And then this area, this is really where I was looking at. Yeah, so there's definitely some serious gem action. The Yuan Ti and possibly the Lizardmen. So that's kind of suggesting part of the reason the Yuan Ti got more powerful is because they found a way to harness gems. Here's another area. Okay, so we have a couple of gem areas. Next one I want to take a look at is iron. Because there should be quite a few iron places. Around the dwarves for sure. Especially if it's a bit wetter, because you can see it then. And I also really like the idea of there being a pretty hefty source of iron up here. And definitely around the fire giants. Like, the fire giants are the real metal workers of that time. And the Duragar. No, swamps. That's a big old iron deposit there. Aarakocra. Yep, this is going to be iron. I wonder if they should have a source of mithril. We have gold. I think that should be iron. Platinum. Yeah, we do need to do platinum too. Fire giants, here we go. Iron through there. Do you have anywhere near water? Nearer water. I don't know how much iron is to do with glacial activity. I don't think very much. And then here, this is going to be a massive iron deposit. Which is why the fire giants are holding on to that spot for dear life. And the elves, of course, have their own source. Ah, and this might be why they start fighting against the giants. So the elves actually seem to have quite a lot of iron available. This is all going to be iron over here for the gnomes. Further out. And then in there as well. And in fact, I kind of want to put some gold in the gnomish area. Because this actually kind of feels more like a gold region than an iron region. Did that work? That didn't work. That's because I didn't pick up the gold. No, I did. There you go. I don't think it should be that big, though. Let's just get rid of you. Oh, yeah, that's a really good gold area, actually. Let's say the gold is found in this crook. And then we can go back to iron. Which can definitely be over here. And in here. And in here. I think I might actually put a silver deposit. Where was it? Ah, sure, saw a standalone area of mountains. Yeah, over on this coast. In here. This feels like that should be silver. And then if we go back to the iron. This is going to be a massive iron deposit. The orcs are going to have to get it from somewhere. What's that? That's gems. I kind of feel like this could be another silver spot. Let's put iron in there. This island's going to be quite important for mining. And yeah, I like having it over here as well. Gives this savanna area a reason to be mined. Although this also kind of feels like a gold area. Which is... What colour's gold? Right, back to iron, because there's definitely iron deposits here. In fact, this one's probably a really big one. And I would say down here as well. Right, so where does platinum appear? Man, platinum is rare. It's like here. 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 Nuggets grains of blue or platinum can be found in nature, more frequently alloyed from other metals such as iron, copper, gold, nickel, and other PGMs. Yeah, we're talking about native platinum. Concentrated sand and gravel, called placer deposits. Sand and gravel beds are created when old rock is eroded from its source and further ground into pieces, washed into rivers and streams. Most of the world's placer platinum is found in Russia, so it's going to be very much northern and big mountain areas. So it's kind of similar to where gold is found. But it needs to have flatter regions. Isn't platinum just a natural alloy of silver? No. Hence there's actual platinum. And it has its own element. It's not an alloy. It could be made by alloying, apparently. Okay, so, platinum. What colour is platinum going to be? We've got yellowish grey, we've got bluish grey, we've got reddish grey. Greenish? Is there anyone left? Except greenish grey would be copper. Purpley grey? That's too dark. I think I'm going to go for pinkish grey. Something like this. That's kind of too similar to mithril. Make it a bit darker. That'll do. Greyish grey. You mean like iron, tin, silver, mithril, titanium? Grey doesn't really help. Grey is like every metal. Another one we might want to do, though it's probably not as important for Dungeons & Dragons stuff, is Mercury. Okay, so platinum. Basically, anywhere where gold is likely to have appeared, where it hasn't. So I'm going to say in there. This should be iron. Oh yeah, I just haven't done iron for that region yet. And this is going to be a really big iron mine. Although this is probably also where sulfur is available. You know what? Let's just get rid of that real quick. I think the iron's going to be on this side. I'm going to keep that volcano free for other interesting stuff. Alright, going back to platinum. Again, this is why the Dragonborn really like this area, because it's very mineral rich. In fact, you know what? Let's make this a truly phenomenal platinum source. And have it actually be genuinely quite rare. Except in the Feywild. Yep, this looks like a good platinum area right there. Gold, platinum, gems. There's a reason to go to the Feywild. Salt. One third of the reason the Mali was so rich, others being gold and slaves. That's true. Salt. Yeah, salt mines. You're not wrong. I mean, part of the reason salt is here. Salt flats. So this is why the Tenkali really like this region. I don't think I necessarily need to put salt as a resource. That's just something that can arise as we decide, you know what, this area is known for its salt production. The idea that platinum would come from around here too. Gives another reason for the dwarves to really value this region. Let's put a little platinum source right there. And that one is iron. We clearly need more iron. Just going to go in here. And I think probably over on here. There's going to be a pretty massive source of iron here if anybody ever can get to that. Although I don't really want to give people too many reasons to go after the trolls. But there should be a few. Kind of feels like another silver area. Oh, you know what? I just saw another gem spot. Gems, gems, gems. Give me gems. Well, let's put them in here. Big old gem source. I like that. I actually kind of like this area to be a primescent source too. This be one of the older ones. Half sunken already. I feel like putting another silver up here. Where was it? It's here. My lord, we now have the effects of trading in salt. Land maintenance modifier plus 5%, minus 5%. Yes, indeed. Do we know where else salt comes from, though? Where else besides deserts? It can be mined, like the really... Salzburg literally means salt mountain in Austria. And then there's also the massive salt mines in southern Poland. Those are truly impressive. Can't remember what that area was called, though. These. Wilczka. Like, if you've not been here, I highly recommend it. This is carved from solid rock. Down to the detail of the tiles. Like the altarpiece. This is an underground, subterranean cathedral that the miners dug in this salt mine. It's flipping impressive. And then got my good buddies as well. There they go. Is it them? It's actually the origin of rock gnomes. They actually lit that up. Yeah, they have. But basically what the miners would do was, when they were mining, they would leave these little statues, either to freak out their fellow miners or to, like, appease the spirits of the rock. Yeah, Wilczka salt mine. This is, again, something that they created, like a gnome's grotto. Screw Petra, the dwarves are really Polish, good to know. I mean, yeah. And this is probably like the influence it will take for the gnomes in our setting, the rock gnomes, the ones who lived underground. Because they were properly subterranean. I mean, it's kind of somewhere between Polish salt mines and Fallout. They were basically in bunkers. Tons of halite is mined out from underneath the Canadian side of Lake Ontario. What's that? Time of the Genies, there were two big rivers mined near the capital. What happened to those vaulted mines, and what did they excavate there before the explosion? Good question. Was here. Harder to get to now, mined. I mean, that probably was quintessence. Which I need to be a bit careful putting in so we can actually see where it is. No, I don't want to have it that close. We'll just say that these mountains are full of, like, low-level quintessence. Primessence. Damn it, did it again. Low-level primessence. Haltite is geological salt. Ah, okay, gotcha. One thing that we have kind of missed out on is all the resources the hobgoblins would have. Like, as mountainous and rocky as Norway is, what resources does Norway actually produce? And Scotland, for that matter. Petrol, obviously, but that's more from the North Sea. Fish. Aluminium. Non-ferrous metals, so not iron. Which makes sense, because again, the Vikings got most of their iron from the swamps. Mordius blew up, makes sense for it to just be splattered all over the mountains. Yeah, which is why I don't think it's necessarily Primescence that's in these mountains. I mean, I agree there should be something, but when you actually like zoom in and see the sheer scope of them, they're flipping massive. How would people necessarily get to them? Like putting some in here maybe would make sense. Putting them here on the coast, how would they get to them? It's on the coast. It's cliffs. In here, maybe. Actually, what's tin look like? Tin is that one. I'm wondering if we want to put tin in here. It's hills more. I feel like tin would be more likely up here. In fact, it would be likely in here. Like, these mountains are just a bit of everything. But I do feel like these should produce something. Maybe more iron. This is going to be a very heavy iron production region. And honestly, I'm kind of okay with that. This feels like it would be a tin area as well. I don't think we'd really decided where we wanted to put tin. Because, yeah, they're going to need a source of tin from somewhere, so it makes sense it would be out here. And that would basically cause the northern humans to push this way more. And discovery of tin. It's a dormant volcano. I don't think we'd necessarily have tin there. This looks like a tin deposit. Do I want to make it too big? Ah, here we go. This is tin. This is why these settlements started... Well, this is why this settlement appeared. There's also tin down here. Yeah, okay, I've added too much tin in this region. No, it makes sense that there's tin here. Again, why else would they have settled that area? There is a lot of tin down here. They're going to have one hell of a Bronze Age. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Just gives us a better idea of where the production is. The only other thing would be like ebony. Oak. Like some specifically very rare or useful woods. Like, I feel like you might be able to find ebony in here, for example. That's what makes the Leonin interesting to trade with. And possibly down here as well for the tieflings. In here. Like mineral-infused woods. Ironwood type thing. You know what? I like that idea. We're going to go with a browny colour. It's going to be quite close to gold, is the only problem. Iron. There you go. It's too much like that. There you go. That's a different colour. And then ironwood is going to be found down here by the Leonin. And it will only be in these really, really... Well, no. Ironwood specifically is mineral-infused wood. So yes, ironwood is going to be in here. And it's basically from minerals that come from here, separated in here, and then flowed through there. So this center of the forest is going to be ironwood. So it's got to be water that runs through a forest that's come from mountains. Here, this is another region of ironwood. Aarakocra are going to have a pretty good source of it. Yeah, right in here. That's too watery. And I think that ironwood would probably... this is going to be one of the main products of the Feywild. In fact, I think we can basically say that a large number of the trees in the Feywild are ironwood. It's probably up here too. Let's see what that is. Goliaths! You're too bright. You're shining too bright, Goliaths. Oh yeah! Oh man, this is going to be another really good source of it, actually. This might even be Like the Goliath's primary export. These are just going to be ironwood. This is an ironwood forest right here. Thank you. That is very much a northern product. I don't think it occurs at all in these areas. Too near the coast. Not there in the south. Yes, here it does. Little area. Redwood's in the Feywild as well. Cedar would be really important for other regions. I mean, ironwood basically is redwood, I think, effectively. What about the islands? Not really big enough for it to have congealed in that way. And I would say that the jungle... actually, no, there are a few places in the jungle where it could definitely occur. I don't actually know if the jungle has enough mountains for it. No, it's going to occur in here. This is part of the reason why the lizardmen are holding their own against the Unti. Dwarves. I don't want to give the dwarves everything, but it does kind of make sense Iron would be right there. Which is why this becomes the capital, because it's much more mineral infused than this. I kind of like the dichotomy. Like this, yeah, it's fertile, but there aren't that many minerals here. Whereas if you come through the Worldwound Tunnel and get to this area, oh boy, it becomes very wealthy very quickly. But you may not necessarily have the technology to exploit that early. Where is Mithril in this world? Mithril is in mountains. I'm trying to remember what the exact clause of Mithril was. You know, this is absolutely something we should write down. This would come under geology. So this is mineral distribution. So if we just bring this over here, scroll down here so I can see the key, and then I can add all the things. So we've got silver, gold, gems, tin, prim essence, I can't type today, mithril, iron, platinum, and ironwood. And yes, there should be a couple of others. Probably, again, forest derived. And we need something that comes from the plains. Like, plains is probably going to be different kinds of animals, like cattle, buffalo, horses. Like, early sources of horses, I think, would be quite important. So silver. Silver is standalone mountains. Gold is in glacial, eroded mountains. Gems were wetlands. Tin was wet hills. Promescence is anywhere interesting. Iron is deep mountains, wet mountains. Platinum. Platinum was basically anywhere where there wasn't gold. Ironwood was forest, wetlands with nearby mountains. What was the source of mithril? I've completely forgotten already. All I remember is that it was flipping rare. Because I know our dwarves had some. There really isn't a lot of mithril. It's kind of the bluey colour. What's that? It really is rare. Is that mithril or is that silver? I feel like that's silver. Is that mithril? Man, mithril and silver is really close. That's mithril. Did we only put one source of mithril? I think we may have. Yeah, we did. So at the moment, mithril is the rarest mineral on Earth. Standalone mountains. Like, literally just standalone mountains. So it's standalone mountains, but... No, it's standalone mountains near Promescence. That was it. I remember. Published. Public. Place 2 mithrils, forgot to change 1. Not sure I did place 2. Well, in that case, let's have a look around and see what needs mithril. Possibly down here. I kind of want to have mithril more out there, though. Like this. Or, better yet, this. This is why the Duragar are so powerful. They're never going to grow very big, but they're very, very wealthy in their little consolidated area, and that source of Promescence and mithril allows them to do some amazing enchanting work, which is what I want them to do. I mean, it might be that we need to add a couple more sources of Promescence. Oh, here we go. Mithril. Mithril. Reason to go north. There should definitely be some more Promescence in here. What would have died out this way? And where? Kind of feel like maybe in the middle of this wood. Oh, I know where there's going to be a lot of this stuff. Mithril. It's not really standalone, though. I do feel like it should be out here, like maybe in this. I feel like it should be a bit closer. This is why I'm quite happy to put another source of quintessence out here somewhere. Well, how about we place the mithril, then we place the quintessence? I'm thinking maybe in there. And then let's put the quintessence in here around the volcano. Don't think I necessarily want any there. There should definitely be quintessence down here, and I think I might actually... I do generally want quintessence to be mined. I feel like it's a mining resource. You might be able to extract it from marshes or something, and maybe in here. Let's go with this. Going into the marsh. Like this would actually probably be a legit source of mithril. Like, I definitely don't want this to be too frequent. There's also no promescence out here. Like, I think we need to do a much better job of allocating where promescence goes. Where's that island gone? There it is. That would be a classic mithril spot. It actually kind of looks like a splayed out body there. Arms, missing head, legs, torso. It's different from silver, but they are very similar. I mean, it's close. Let's put it in there. And I just seen a bit which I think definitely should be promescence. I think this should be promescence in here. And then the islands. I quite like the idea of you being a mithril spot. And then we'll put some promescence in this lake. Except then why would it fed into you? Let's have a little dead guy right there. One of the God's pets died or something. I don't know. So there isn't a huge amount of magical energy over here. Or is there? Or is there? Yes, there is. Ooh. This might actually need to be an even rarer material. Which I'm going to very, very originally call unobtainium. Unobtainium. That is going to manifest only there. Oops. Okay. Well, building magic and divine stuff is undecided. Mordred. There needs to be mining of the stuff, even magic everywhere. Well, remember that... In fact, this is something that I needed to be bearing in mind, and I have not really been doing so. Magic came before the gods. The big deposits, the concentrated big deposits, are probably where a god died. So right now there are 3, maybe 4. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. But promescence occurs naturally, because remember the gods are made out of promescence. Promescence is not created by the gods. So promescence has to be a naturally occurring resource, which might well have natural deposits around. It's just the big deposits are where the dead gods are. And those big deposits are probably where the scary stuff is. Like various big beasties. Which would kind of suggest that this may need to be bigger. Maybe it's just very concentrated. Star metal of some sort. Yeah, adamantium, but... Yes, but I don't know where yet. It's not something that would occur naturally. Oops, no, wrong colour. Wrong colour. I'm going to put promescence in there, which is why there's forests growing on the mountain as opposed to down here where it's not really. Might also put some here in the... just a little source in the middle of the forest, which is why that forest is growing so aggressively. Now, I do also feel like the Leonin should have their source, which is why they basically became sentient. Like, I don't want it to be too prevalent, but it shouldn't be rare. Right now, the northern humans don't have a source. I'm going to make tiny little sources where those random deserts are. Those are deserts I should probably have removed, but instead these are going to be like the, Oh, you know what? Oh, I like this idea. Ha ha ha! Yeah. This is changing. This is not going to be... hills. This is going to be actually one of my favourite areas in Warhammer 3. The Warpstone Desert. Well, actually, the Warpstone Desert would be more like this. Yeah, this is the Warpstone Desert. So the dwarves don't have a huge source of it. The humans really don't. Probably because it got absorbed by the big explosion, so most of what was here is now concentrated in here. Actually, that kind of makes sense lore-wise. So there should be a bit more of it out here, then the further from this center you get, the more common it becomes again. That's silver. Which would mean that that would then become mithril. No. We'll have a little bit of it up here. Then the UNT, let's just expand your deposit. I think I might also make this into one. Which is why there is this random deserty bit there. Minotaurs don't have any. There's like none over on this side. What's in there? It was platinum. I'm going to put some in here. Which is why there are trees growing. They're not a hugely magical race, so I think that's fine. Yes. 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 No. Yeah, magical lakes. 2 magical lakes. So you have source there, there. Aarakocra don't have any. What will they do? Source there. The elves don't have really big way of getting it. I mean, that's kind of interesting, because it means the elves would have to import it. Probably from the gnomes and the humans. Or the gnomes especially, because again, the humans don't have a lot of it. I'm actually half tempted to reduce this size. Or just remove it completely. I'm going to remove that completely. So the only bit is in there and in there. So again, it's more frequently occurring. Oh, let's put it in the volcano. Both of them? Both of them. So you have a couple of small little deposits, and there's massive ones down here. So silver and Promescence is what the Tinkali are extracting. And then the Yuan-Ti, the lizard men. I mean, this might actually be a reason for the desert lizards to go and take this. I actually quite like my little Leviathan out here now. I think that was a very good plan. And then there's a whole bunch of it up here. Which also kind of explains why the Feywild is so magical. Also explains why the giants were up here. Because the giants... This was a Titan... major Titan area, and the Titans were the first ones to worship the gods. Some of the older dead gods, which is why these areas are bigger, are up here. That makes sense. And this area, which just wasn't that heavily inhabited, doesn't have as many big sources. It's more naturally occurring. Which would kind of suggest that one of the other big races was down here, maybe. Yeah, this is like the dinosaurs, the proto lizardmen. So I'm going to... Where's Lord Anvil gone? Why did you appear on the other monitor? That was weird. Yeah, cool. Magma brings with it quite a lot of other metals on our map. Yes, which is one of the reasons why I think the Fire Giants are going to be an interesting faction, because they're going to have access to a lot of that stuff, because they really like the volcanoes. And so, yep. Yeah. Is Promescence finite? Would a time theoretically come when it runs out? At the moment, no. Oh, hang on. I made a mistake. Mordeus is the corrupted quintessence. And the reason why Promescence is now finite is because Mordeus destroys it. Mordeus is a antimatter. Should have a reddish colour. I was actually thinking a greenish colour. Make it look a bit diseased. You know what? Let's make it purple. Dark purple. Yeah. Although purple is also the colour of royalty. Oh well, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. There's a pretty dirty purple, that. Only at the crater so far. The interesting thing is, if other people start extracting this and exporting it, it is going to start becoming naturally occurring as it corrupts previous deposits. And the interesting thing, actually, the only way to stop the spread of Mordeus is with unobtainium. It acts like lead, it's a shield. But otherwise, yes. From the moment that Mordeus was murdered, Quintessence is now finite. It didn't used to be. The question that should arise is, does Mordeus consume the quintessence and thus take on additional mass? Or does it just destroy it entirely? I think probably destroy it. Burns it. We'll need to think about the properties of Mordius. Because the way that I want it to work is it is a very powerful fuel, effectively. You can use Mordius to become an incredibly powerful spellcaster. It basically lets you cheat the rules of magic by consuming all of the Mordius around you. Of course, the more you supercharge it, the more unstable and dangerous it gets. It's kind of like Warp in Warpstone in Warhammer. Maybe you crystallize it where it was more living before, purer but finite. I mean, there could definitely be different types of Mordius. So that might be why it became more dangerous. Because the mad wizards found a way of refining Mordius, which instead of destroying it, consumes it, creating more Mordius. To be considered. That's an interesting line of thought. But that is, I think, where we are going to end this one. So I'm going to say I'm pretty happy with the distribution of different resources. This is going to give us some idea of what different nations are going to go for. There are, of course, other more mundane resources like olives, wine, some of the less rare minerals like copper, yew, oak, beech, pine. But those can be decided on a more local basis, like this region is known for its wine production, for example. Livestock, salt, yeah, exactly. But that's going to be something that's going to emerge when we start to actually work on the individual realms themselves, which is definitely something we're going to want to do, because it's going to allow us to begin thinking about the culture and the makeup of that realm and what their objectives and ambitions are, which will then help us determine how expansion and things happens. Hasn't been important until now, and I think that between now and probably actually post Bronze Age collapse, it's going to become important. Like the realms that emerge post Bronze Age collapse, that's when we're going to want to start giving them an identity. Granite, yeah, the granite would be another one. I mean, that would be from largely mountainous regions, especially where there are volcanoes present. Granites. Oh, what are the three types of stone? There's it's metamorphic. Metamorphic, igneous, and... secondary. Geology is failing me here. Sedimentary, that was it. Now, what is the definition? Sedimentary is when you've got metamorphic or igneous and it gets ground up and then compressed. That's stuff like sandstone, which usually happens under the sea and old seabeds. Then there is igneous, I think, which is volcanic. And then metamorphic, which is rock that's changed due to heat and pressure. So it tends to occur deep inside mountains. I think. Let's see if I'm right. So igneous is stuff like pumice, obsidian. So these are the volcanics. Granite, yes. Sedimentary is things like sandstone, chalk, shale. Then metamorphic, okay. Metamorphic is magma, it's hardened magma. So it's surface level. No, it's not surface level. Yes, it is. Compared to this, it is surface. Because, like, slate is basically just magma. Do you want to make more resources, or are we good? I mean, if you want to come up with some more resources, that would be good to have on a geostrategic level, geopolitical level, like the resources that make kingdoms fight. That's important. So if you have ideas for that, then yes. If it's the more mundane stuff like sheep, cows, less so. That's going to be local scenario building. Metamorphic is igneous or sedimentary that is placed under incredible heat and pressure and warped by that experience. So igneous is lava, and then metamorphic is the lava that's been changed through pressure? But I thought granite was that. Igneous is the rocks that directly come from magma. Huh. So if you take granite and compress it and heat it, or obsidian, then it becomes one of these? That surprises me, because granite, for example, is a hell of a lot harder than slate, but then slate might have been a sedimentary. That does make more sense. This geology talk scares me and confounds me. Yes, we are going to stop here. So I do hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, be sure to hit that follow button to get notifications when I'm live again in the future. If you really enjoyed this and you would like to support the channel, then please do consider subscribing. Helps the channel out, lets me do more of this kind of content. Or you can, of course, check out the Patreon at patreon.com/MordredViking. I will not be on tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday, which is my day off. I will, however, be back on Friday, where we're playing some Crusader Kings and Mountain Blade Bannerlord. I might stream tomorrow, actually, thinking about it, because my friends and I are going to play some Deep Rock Galactic, and I'm kind of tempted to see if they want to have that one streamed. Tuna might as well. We shall see. Also, usually when I hang out with my friends, I kind of like to keep that as hanging out with my friends, because I play those games for fun, but also I feel like I know this community's love of dwarves, and Deep Rock Galactic is all about dwarves in space. So no promises, but maybe. Otherwise, Sunday, D&D game. That is going to be the Dungeons & Dragons Digital Dragons game, where I am the DM. We have a fantastic group of players from the US, and what are they up to at the moment? Oh yeah, they're trying to uncover a potential new faction that has risen up in Bryn Shander. We're playing through the Icewind Dale scenario. Then on Monday, we've got Component Cast, which is where I'm playing D&D as my Gnomish Artificer, which is where a lot of the ideas for the gnomes in the underground magic gnomes is going to come from, I think. Oh man, the founding of Rome era is going to be interesting. That's when the gnomes are going to appear. What kind of an impact is that going to have? You'll have to tune in next time to find out. So more of this next Wednesday, possibly in between there. Basically depends whenever I feel like doing it. If I do, it will usually be on the Digital Dragons channel, however, rather than here. Anyway, that's all for me for now. Thanks everyone for watching. You know what? I'm going to raid the Digital Dragons channel right now, so you can hit that channel with a follow. Because like I said, I do want to start doing more. It's about dragons, that would help. Because I do feel like doing more of this type of thing on that channel probably in the future. And also, when we actually start playing in this world, that's going to be on that channel. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. If you have any input for me and you would like to contribute to the discussion, then please do consider heading over to my Discord, at which you can find... Oh, you already did the end thing. Thank you, Frederick. You can find the world building channel where this is all being discussed in quite a bit of detail with quite a lot of input. So please do keep that coming. I do read it all. because I find this really interesting. Like, this is my favourite thing to do. When I feel creative, this is what I like doing. Anyway, that's all for me for now. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time.